Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. How are you today? I think you're fine. Now we will present to you about compare and contrast. So pay the attention.
I'm Anggi Merilia, and in this part, I'm going to explain to you about compare. What is compare? Compare is a form of sentence statement in comparing the similarity of an object, place, and person. Or compare can also be interpreted as a level that focus on equality or positive levels of an object, place, and person. Compare in writing discuss elements that are similar, while contrast in writing discusses elements that are different. A compare and contrast essay then analyze two subjects by comparing them, contrasting them, or both.
A good compare and contrast essay is to choose two or more subjects that connect in a meaningful way. The purpose of conducting the comparison and contrast is not to state the obvious but rather to illuminate subtle difference or unexpected similarities. For the example, if you want to focus to contrasting between two subjects, you would not pick an apple or orange, but rather you might choose to compare or contrast between two types of apple or two types of orange to highlight subtle difference. To make you more understand, you can read this sentence and this sentence.
Okay, for the next material will be presented by me, Karinda Salsabila. So, drawing distinction between two elements in the similarity category will be increase the readers or the audience to understanding that category. Which is the purpose of compare and contrast essay. There are several types of compare. The first is compare with. Compare with is usually refers to things, objects, places, or someone. Like this, for example, it's like we want to compare school with school, famous artist with a famous artist, or cats with cats, like that, and etc. And then for the example of compare with itself, the first is my mom always compare me with my sister. And then the second is hard to compare working in Indonesia with working in a foreign country, like that.
Okay, next is compare to. Compare to is usually used for two different objects. For example, like cats such as dogs and small children such as vines and etc. And compare to this aims to explain that one object is similar to the second object even though physically the two are different.
Next, I will give example. Number one is man as an apple tree, which when he is thrown with stones, is rewarded with apples. Okay, the second example is if I compare my brother to Kate because they always sleep all day, my mother will angry with me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kolisa Ratasia and I would like to explain about the next material is about contrast. Contrast means difference, especially when that difference is very noticeable, and it usually shows up in pairs like chicken salad, salt and pepper, table and chairs, and hero and villain.
The key to good compare and contrast essay is to choose two or more subjects that connect in a meaningful way. The purpose of conducting the comparison or contrast is not to state the obvious, but rather to illuminate subtle differences or unexpected similarities.
The step in understanding compare and contrast. Step 1. Analyze the question. Step 2. Identify the similarities and differences in content. Step 3. Identify the similarities and differences in structure. Step 4. Identify the similarities and differences in media. And the last step is evaluate. Contrast often means the opposite. For the example, black is the opposite of white, and there is a contrast between black ink and white paper. But contrast can also happen when two things are just very different. For the example, cat and dog are contrast, but they are not the opposite.
The types of contrast are basically infinite, but these are a few common ones. So what kind of types of contrast? The first, there is a visual contrast. Maybe this is the simplest form of contrast is sparkly visual. It often includes colors such as black and white, green or purple. It also involves like shapes, size, etc. And the second contrast is social or cultural contrast. The example of this contrast is rich and poor, male and female, Christian and atheist, Congolese, Brazilian and Turkish. So there's all of social contrast.
Personal contrast. Imagine two people who have different skills, habits, and personalities. The others clean. One stuck, the others wimpy. One's fail and skinny, the others short and squat. And then emotional contrast. Emotional contrast within a single story, you can have strong emotional contrast between fear in one scene and love in another. For example, he was happy, but I'm so upset today.
That's all the explanation about compare and contrast. I hope you can understand the content of them. So, goodbye and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.